first time a man took an airplane without a ticket. The stewardess noticed something was wrong. She thought he was afraid of heights and gave him 2 bottles of water so that he could relieve his nervousness. Then the man put one of them in his pocket, but he didn't know that his frugal behavior would save his life. The plane hit strong air currents and began to shake violently. Passengers not wearing seatbelts flew straight up. Oxygen masks fell off. People put them on as if they were grabbing for a lifeline. But the danger didn't stop there. As the pressure of the airflow increased, the plane couldn't take it anymore. It disintegrated in the air. The passengers were so scared that they peed their pants. Soon after, the man awoke with a start. He realized he was in a dense forest. He ran out of the forest. Only then does he realize that he is on a deserted island in an unknown location. Suddenly the man heard the shouts of humans in the distance. He immediately followed the sound. The scene was chaotic. There were screams and cries for help. Jack was the only doctor on the plane. He began to go around rescuing people who were seriously injured. But then a horrible creaking sound caught Jack's attention. The wings of the plane were crumbling, and there was a pregnant woman sitting underneath. He rushed in the direction of the pregnant woman. He was able to save both of them before the wing fell. But the falling wing triggered a chain reaction. There was a violent explosion. The scene was in flames, and Jack was hit by debris while protecting the pregnant woman. He didn't have time to treat his injuries. Jack entered the scene again to look for the injured, but the explosion had already turned the injured into the dead. So Jack went into the forest to sew up the wound, but the wound is on the side. He couldn't reach it with his hands. While he was worried, a woman appeared nearby. Jack rushed to her for help, and the woman graciously agreed to help, but she was soon shocked. It was the first time she'd seen a man who was calm without anesthesia, and that's how they got to know each other. Jack deduced that based on the only half of the plane left at the scene, the cockpit should be preserved. As long as they can find the signal transmitter inside, they could call for help and get out of here. And that's what alerted Kelly, because she saw smoke coming out of the valley during the day. That could be the crash site of the cockpit, and said she was willing to go with him to find it. Jack was happy to see that. But suddenly there was a horrible hissing sound in the distance. Everyone in the room was instantly alerted. They followed the direction of the sound, only to see the trees in the distance being broken. It seemed that there was some kind of huge creature approaching in the forest. The monster didn't show up in the end. The air was quiet once again. The next day rolled around. The crowd gathered to speculate on what kind of monster it was. Some thought it was a dinosaur. Others thought it was a monkey. Panic had already gripped everyone. Jack was no exception. But in order to get out of here as quickly as possible, he ventured into the jungle with Peter and Kelly to find the cockpit. But it wasn't long before it started to rain heavily, making the search much more difficult. People sheltering from the rain have noticed that the monsters are back in action, but the 3 men in the jungle are still unaware of this. They walked for some time and finally found the nose of the plane under a big tree. They climbed inside. The first-class passengers were all dead. Guess it's a good thing he can't afford to fly first class. Then Jack climbed up to the driver's side. He grabbed a piece of iron and tried to break the lock.